I'm Eric Hoven with Creation Today, and I get the privilege of sitting down with Garry and Melissa from Love and Truth Network. And I just want to let you know that this show, this portion of this show, I would probably recommend for kids that are 10 years and older. We're going to be talking about some sensitive subject matter. And then parents, after you viewed this, I would encourage you to talk to your children all the way down to kindergarten level, because they are being indoctrinated with the subject matter that we're going to address today. But with that little caveat, Garry and Melissa, thank you guys for joining me here today. I certainly appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Now, you guys are from Love and Truth Network. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, I have pastored for about 12 years in a church in upstate New York, and out of that, felt like God was leading me because of my own sexual brokenness and years in homosexuality, and seeing a lot of ways in which the church didn't effectively deal with relational and sexual brokenness, really inviting people out of shame and out of hiding, out of living double lives within the church. I felt like we need to do more as the primary method through which God is reaching the world as the church. And so our ministry is about going out and equipping Christian leaders on how to create safe and transformational environments. How
is the church doing in dealing with all the sexual brokenness? And that goes from everything from pornography to homosexuality and all kinds of other deviants in between. How are we handling that? How's the church handling that? How do you think we're doing?
Well, honestly, the church has missed the mark in a lot of ways, where Christians have often felt condemned. They've felt that they're alone, they're isolated, and there's really no one to turn to. And they've heard the truth of the Bible, which clearly condemns sexual sin, along with lots of other sins. But there hasn't been a message of hope, and the hope of the gospel, which is that Jesus is in the business of changing lives and transforming lives. And so we're really trying to help the majority of Christians that are dealing with some form of sexual or relational brokenness, and we're trying to help equip Christian leaders in how to help those people. So we're hopeful. I mean,
Amen.
And we definitely don't want to come across as being anti-church. We love the church, and we've benefited profoundly from what the church provides to us. But if we can come alongside and help the church be more effective in ministering to the majority of people that sit in the pews or the seats week after week after week, who are living those double lives, who are going home hopeless, who are going home feeling more ashamed of what they're stuck in, rather than feeling like, okay, it is sin, but there's hope and help here in the church for working out of these things, walking out of these things. And there are people who want to walk alongside us. So often addiction issues, other types of addiction issues, can be expressed in church, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, those kind of things. But when it comes to sexual addiction or those something of a sexual nature, so often there's this sort of unspoken mandate that you just don't talk about it, or you go and find help someplace else,
but not
and then come back.
Wow. Okay, you guys have a powerful, powerful testimony, both of you coming out of sexual brokenness. I want to save that topic and let you share that for the extended interview that I want to do with you guys. But tell us some of when you guys want to train churches, you want to train individuals to lead and become leaders in this area. What are some of the things you share with them that really help them see this in the right perspective? What are some of the issues that you talk about with the leaders and with the people in the church?
Well, I'd say the first way that we approach each situation, each church or parachurch organization or Christian educational institution, we approach each situation in their context. We can't come in with a template and say this is what needs to happen. We have to come in, whether it's an urban setting or a rural setting, depending on the size of the church, the demographics of the church. Every place has its own story. And some churches have experienced profound sexual abuse that's happened. Maybe a pastor has abused, or somebody within the church, a leader within the church, has abused either children or other people. And so that creates its own dynamic. So we first of all want to come in and have a conversation with the pastors, the leadership team, but we've done everything from, we love doing retreats together for Christian leaders, for youth leaders, for church as a whole. We also have developed a number of conferences that we've done regionally and have been a part of some national ministries and the conferences that they've done. So everything from preaching to sharing our own testimonies to sitting down and really hashing through the issues with the leaders, and always having, honestly, an understanding that many leaders are struggling with their own sexual brokenness. their own relational brokenness. And where do they go to find help and support? And so we always want to have another track where we're establishing trust with them so that they can have an avenue through which to share, look, I'm struggling with this too, and I need help and support. So can you help me with that? That's absolutely important. A leader can't lead his people into what he's not experiencing.
That is so true. Now, I said something before we started taping. I said, I believe we've gone through a real moral revolution. And Melissa, you said, is revolution the right word?
Yeah, it's more of a moral rebellion.
Wow.
In the sense of taking the principles that our country was founded on and basically saying, we don't need that. We're going to do it our own way. Well, hey, that's familiar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going all the way back to Genesis.
Yes.
And I would say that certainly an underpinning of everything that we teach goes back to God's intention when he created us in his image as male and female. That there's complementarity there, that there's no shame, and that wasn't an accident. That's who God's created us to be, that we need both men and women operating in the fullness, as much as we can this side of heaven, in the fullness of who God's created us to be. And so we're often encouraging people, for example, that, or maybe this isn't encouraging, I don't really know, we're admonishing them, that the reason homosexuality has made such inroads in the culture is because heterosexuals have made a mess of marriage.
Wow.
And so we're always encouraging / admonishing, let's work on our marriages and say, hey, that's something that I want to work for, is a healthy marriage. And then we'll have a leg to stand on in terms of speaking into the culture. And I would say the same is true again if we're talking about pornography use, sexual addiction. And Garry may refer to some of the statistics, but pornography is epidemic in the church. And so how can we say, don't do that if we're doing it? And how can we offer hope if we're stuck in it?
You know, I was shocked to find when I did a series with a gentleman called the Conquer series, and I was a part of this. I was shocked to find that 70% of men and 30% of women in pastors in your churches are dealing with a sexual bondage issue. And not only that, 50% of pastors out there deal with a form of sexual bondage issue. Well, man, you've got to check out what Garry and Melissa do, and you've got to check out their testimony.